Well, hello everybody. Welcome once again to the Van Buren Variety Show. I am Bob Van Buren, your host. Very glad you're all here. To my regulars especially, but also to the newcomers that are watching this show, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this days, weeks, or months from now. We always like our new people coming in, and so hope you enjoy the show. It is exactly what it says, Van Buren Variety. Every week, different guests with an equally interesting topic. So you never know what's coming up. You might have someone talking about an interesting hobby. Maybe they're an author or an artist, musical entertainment, a profession, or just something they're generally interested in. So you never know what you're going to get on Van Buren Variety, but appreciate hitting that subscribe button. And that way you can keep up with upcoming events. Also, I want to let you know Van Buren Variety is expanding. I will share this next week. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time now, but Van Buren Variety is now on Twitter, and we're also on Truth Social. And so I'll show you those links. You can look them up yourself. Look up Van Buren Variety. You'll see the Van Buren logo that you see, I guess, right here. And you can catch me on Truth Social, and you can also catch me on Twitter, and I'll start listing my upcoming events. So hopefully you'll like and subscribe that as well. Got an interesting show tonight. Hope you've all had a great week. I decided to do something that I have not done in a long time. Most every city has public libraries, right? Well, I went to the library here a while back to look for a certain book, and I found it. But I didn't realize libraries sometimes still rent out DVDs. Boy, can you say Blockbuster Video? So I rented a video that I've not seen in a long time, and I think a lot of people either A, have never seen it, don't remember it, or a little bit of both. But maybe I have a wicked sense of humor, but this is what I rented recently and watching now. Can y'all see that? It's Cujo. Yeah. So look at the cover. Doesn't that look like a nice family film? Yeah. So I mean, I remember the film. I have not seen it in a long time, so I decided to rewatch it. And yeah, it's pretty intense, based on the Stephen King novel. So if you've seen this, you might want to watch it again. If you haven't seen it, then I would. If you like a good scare and suspense, maybe you can see Mr. Cujo here. So anyway, yes, I have a weird sense of humor, and there it is. So. Well, enough about me. I've got a great guest tonight. In fact, this will be the first time we've ever had this topic on this show. And not just someone who does research, someone who's actually been there, a former professional wrestler. And he's going to be on the show tonight, talk about some of his experiences, his training, and we're even going to show a video of one of his matches back in the day. So he'll be talking about some of his highlights there. And so let's bring him on. And we did have some technical difficulties earlier, so let's make sure we'll do what we can during a live show, okay? So without further ado, let me bring my guest on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet the one and only Slash. Welcome to the Van Buren Variety Show.
Good to be here, brother. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a very honor to have you on the show. A lot of people have questions about wrestling. I mean, people have watched it back in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, even now. And so let's talk about your career. What were the years that you were in wrestling?
80 and 90s mostly.
80s and 90s.
I wrestled in 2000, but in 2005 I had to medically retire. But yeah, from the late 80s and through the 90s and stuff, it was all right. It was a good career.
Well, take us back to the beginning, Slash. We'd like to know, when did you either get interested in wrestling, or when did you find yourself kind of going towards wrestling? We'd like to hear about it.
Well, when I first wanted to get into wrestling, man, I kept getting in trouble. My buddy would come get me out of jail, and he finally said, "Hey, man, I got a cousin that's a pro wrestler. You can go get fights and get paid for it." I was like, "What?" I was like, "I've been wanting to be in wrestling forever." And he's like, "Well, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Go ahead and I'll introduce you to him, and then maybe you can get set up with him." I'm like, "All right." So I talked to Rick. I met Rick, and I said, "Well, aren't you the Dog of War?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like, okay. And he goes by Buster Blackheart.
Oh, wow.
Man, he was a good guy. He was tough, though, man. I mean, when we started wrestling, we didn't we didn't train on a big thick rubber mat. He had 2x12s with a cover over it, and that's what we fell on, took our bumps on.
2x12s.
It was old school. It was old school. We ran the ropes for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Before I did anything, you know. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The training was a lot harder, I think, back then than it is nowadays. These guys are good high flyers and stuff, and they're good wrestlers. A lot of them, I mean, I'm real impressed with what I see in AEW and the WWE nowadays. But, you know, like I knew Mick Foley.
Really?
You know,
oh, wow.
Yeah. The Freebirds, Von Erichs, you know, Black Bart. Who want to get a shout out to, brother? We all love you. Our hearts are with you, brother. Just a lot of the old school wrestlers like that, they're out, you know, Stone Cold. I helped train him when he was at the Sportatorium.
I remember you telling me before the show that one time the wrestler we now know as Stone Cold Steve Austin was not bald. Did you say he had blonde hair?
Oh, long blonde hair, yeah. Yeah, it was
well, it's
real
hard to
long
imagine.
Yeah, you can Google him, look him up. Yeah, he had long blonde hair and 2 left feet.
Wow. So
he's a big old boy. He was big. He was a big guy. Yeah, they were. I was 5'11" and 200 pounds, and man, I looked like the runt in the dressing room. You know, everybody was big, huge, 300 pounds, 250, 260. You know, wow, monsters.
Now you talk about
Nowadays,
big.
you go to wrestling, you see these guys weighing $120, maybe 98 pounds, and high flyers, and it just makes you go, wow, what happened?
Now, you told me an interesting story before we came on the show. You told me that before you really got into wrestling, that you escorted a certain wrestler onto the ring. Who was that wrestler? That big wrestler?
Yeah, I was Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Yeah. Wow. I bet he towered over you.
They had a big thing at the Reunion Arena, and then they had the thing at the Sportatorium. Well, when we were at the Sportatorium, I showed up. Well, if anybody remembers the Sportatorium, when we come down out of the dressing room, you go down steep stairs all the way down to the ring. Well, he's 7'4", 540 pounds. Wow. If he stumbles, holy cow, he's going to kill half the audience. You know? He's a big guy. So anyway, they said, okay, we want you and you to walk him up there. And I'm like, walk who? And he said, Andre Giant. Oh, man, I couldn't even talk. I was so happy. But when we got to the edge to go down the steps, he put his hand up on my shoulder, and his fingers went all the way down below my boob. I mean, it was way down here low. I mean,
wow.
He wore a 24 ring, you know.
Really?
It was huge. Yeah. The man had 22-inch boot. That man was huge.
Wow, no wonder he's called Andre the Giant. Wow.
Oh, yeah, he's a giant, man. Oh, yeah. When he had to go in and have back surgery, they brought in all the wrestlers, promoters, people that knew him, his ex-wife, everything, and asked him questions, you know, how much can he drink? Well, let's see. He drinks about, I don't know, how much is in a case?
That's what
he drink about 3 cases, and then he'd get ready for the hard drink. You know?
Oh, wow.
So when they had to put him down, you know, they wanted to know how much they had to give him, and I sure wouldn't want to been that guy, man. I'd have been scared to death.
No, me too.
Yeah, I mean, that's like putting down a big giant horse, man. You don't know how much to give him. You want him to come back.
Sure. Well, Slash, let's talk about your training. How long did you have to spend, like in, for lack of a better word, wrestling school or wrestling training? How long did that take before you actually were able to get in the ring and start wrestling?
Oh, I did that about 9 months, and then he finally let me. Yeah, and then he took me to Sportatorium and said, all right, man, I promised you if you graduated in my class and got it all paid off, I'd take you over to Sportatorium, introduce you, and I'd get you your first match on TV, on nationwide TV. And I was like, excuse me? So he actually took me over to Dallas, to the Sportatorium, introduced me to Skandor Akbar, and
Skandor Akbar.
Yeah, good man, rest his soul. And they said, go sit down with the rest of the jobbers. So I went in this little room, and I sat there, and Billy Joe Travis come by, and he stuck his head in there. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, well, he stuck his head in there, and I said, hey, Billy, what's up, man? I'm a big fan of yours, and I shook his hand. You know, I didn't know it was called marking out at the time, but apparently it is. So when I'm sorry, I've had my head hit a lot. Where was I? Oh, when I was gonna go sit down, he went and told Akbar, and he brought Akbar in there, and he goes, hey, man, I want to wrestle this guy. So they put me against him. They call me Tommy Carter. Yeah, I think that's what they call me.
Okay. All right.
Akbar gave us that name. Yeah, on Sportorium. And so I went in the ring and wrestled Billy Joe Travis, and I lasted 1 minute and 30 seconds.
1 minute and 30. Well, hey, that's something, you know.
Man, yeah, he grabbed me around. You know, he don't look very big, but yeah, he snatched me around the ring pretty good.
Wow. So you must have met all the greats back in the day, Slash. Like I'm just naming names. The Von Erichs especially come to mind.
I don't know. If JJ took him. What's that? I'm sorry.
So you met the Von Erichs, right? Or some of the Von Erichs?
Yeah, I met all the Von Erich boys. When I went Sportorium, they were all there. You know, there was Kevin, Kerry. Only one wasn't there was David. And
David.
When I was working as security for them at the Sportorium and stuff, David passed away.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I wrestled Chris and Kevin. And Chris was the last one I wrestled. And a couple nights before he got hurt is when he committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
It was about 4 days after me and him sat down and talked, he committed suicide.
Now, you wrestled Kevin, though. You said Kevin. You wrestled Kevin.
Yeah,
you said Kevin's pretty good, tough guy. You said Kevin. You wrestled Kevin. Kevin, you said, was a pretty tough guy.
He snapped my collarbone.
Snapped your collarbone?
I'm glad he knows Jesus now and he's cleaned up, but back then he was coked up, man. He snapped my collarbone like a twig.
Ouch. Ouch. So let me ask you this. I'm sure people are curious. While you were in wrestling, can you name all the injuries that you've had when you were a wrestler?
Be easier to tell you the ones I didn't have.
Okay. The concussion, you mentioned a concussion.
I've had 9 concussions. I quit telling the doctor or people about it after 3 because they kept putting me in the hospital. So I quit telling people about it. So I like 9 different times after that.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know, about 9 total, I imagine. But clear fluid come out my ears and nose, and you know, everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're leaking brain fluid." No.
Wow.
It's probably why I can't remember what I'm doing from 1 minute to the next.
Did you ever? What kind of titles did you win? Wrestling titles.
Well, back when I first started, you just had to get a lot of time under your belt. I didn't even get a title shot until I was like 4 years.
Really?
And then I found, yeah, they don't just hand those out, man. You got to be in the business and you got to have a little bit of a name for yourself. You ever heard of Necro Butcher?
Yes, I recognize that.
Yeah, he was one of the funnest guys I ever wrestled.
Really?
He didn't mind punching and throwing real hits and stuff. You know, he didn't mind. As long as he didn't mind taking them, he didn't mind giving them. Yeah. He gave me one of my concussions, and that was the last one he ever gave me.
Did you know the Freebirds as well? The Freebirds?
Now, when I was escorting them to the ring security stuff over there, yeah, the fabulous Freebirds showed up. Now, I'll tell you the funniest thing. You know, Buddy Roberts and Bam Bam are gone. But
yeah, they are.
But Michael Hayes is up in WWE. But, you know, I remember them pulling up in a big old van, one of them custom 70s van. We opened the side doors like a limo because they were underneath they were under the parkway underneath the, what was that? Reunion Arena?
Reunion Arena, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they pulled underneath there. We opened the doors, bed, and man, the weed smell knocked us backwards. Whew, the cloud just bellowed out of there.
Ouch. Wow.
That was back before they started doing all the drug tests and stuff. That's where all the roids came from. That's where they all got all juiced up.
Exactly right. Hey, where all have you wrestled? I mean, have you wrestled mostly around the Texas area? Did you ever go out of state?
Oh, yeah, I've been out of state. I went to Mexico once. I'll never go there again.
Oh, really? How did?
It just scared me, man. There's bad things down there. Scared me.
What
You're
was
not
the
in the
name?
United States no more. You don't have a constitutional right. You need to get out of there with your mouth shut.
Yeah. What was the name
And
of
then
your wrestling organization?
Well, there was World Class, which
World
I
Class.
wrestled for. When I finally got started, that was the first people I wrestled for was World Class when Skandar Akbar was running it. And then I went to I guess what you call minor league or the outlaw league, the little small shows. So I could get some more time under my belt, man. I was a little rusty in the ring. I wanted to look good and smooth. So I went out for about 2 years and, traveled all these little shows, making $10, $15 if I was lucky.
Okay.
And but I got a lot of experience under my belt, and then when I went back to some of the shows, I got to wrestle at Tops. Tops I was at, 10 years.
Really? Oh,
was
wow.
great. Tops was great, man, because BA, Wesley Wilson, another shout out, that was my best friend, best man at my wedding. He passed away in 2020. He wrestled for WWE, WWF back when it was WWF. He was in front of a magazine fighting Owen Hart and Bret Hart. Yeah, they had him cornered.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Man.
anyway, he was a good guy, man. He got me started in the business over here, and I kind of made it my home. So I finally moved over here, and I'm still here.
Wow. Hey, Slash, we got some people watching this live, and we got a few questions from the audience. Let me bring some up for you.
Right.
Penny is asking, Slash, did you ever train up here in Minnesota at the Shellard Park Tower? Back in the day, that was the main training location. Did you ever go to Minnesota?
No, I never made it up that far. I did more of the southern states. Like I say, we went to Mexico once, and I didn't want to do that no more. But I did. I went to Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Louisiana, all over Texas. That area.
Okay. And we have another question, too. Val wants to know, did you ever meet Roddy Piper?
No, that was one of them I wanted to meet.
You never met him?
I met Ric Flair. I met Hulk Hogan. Flair's a really sweet guy, man. If you catch him, behind stage and stuff, he's a real nice guy, man. He's down to earth.
The Nature Boy. Woo!
Yeah. The Nature Boy.
Okay. Well, Slash, I have one of your wrestling videos here that I'll share with my audience right now. So, so let's let me show this to the audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Slash back in the day. And we'll come back and, Slash, I'm sure we'll have a lot more questions from not only from me, but from the audience. So
right.
Let's see Slash in action, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes.
Hey, Slash, if they set your stomach on fire, I bet he can't do that. Slash working over Sensei. Nice knock off the profile. Sensei Oh, that's the other shoulder. One down and me. Oh, not yet. He's not through yet, boy. Oh, he broke a perfectly good set of sticks. Going for another one. Oh, my. There goes the other one, Mike.
Wow, Slash, the punishment that you took back then. How did you survive?
Yeah, now you know why I walk funny.
I saw chairs. I saw sticks being used.
Oh, but you forget that Sensei Bob is a actual 8th degree Shaktigan karate instructor.
Oh, really? Oh,
When he was
wow.
punching me, hitting me, yeah, he's stiff. Yeah. He was solid. And also, when I went over in that match I've been over,
Uh-huh.
you let all these people know I ain't been out of surgery for a hernia, but for 30 days when I got in that match.
You had a hernia 30 days before the match?
No, I had emergency hernia surgery, and then 30 days later, I was in the ring, and I was supposed to be in the ring for 3 to 6 months.
Oh, man, Slash,
And
you're a
did you
glutton
see
for
what
punishment.
Sensei Bob did to me right at first? He kicked me right in the scar.
I saw that.
And that's why I smashed him right there at first.
Well, let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Slash. There might be some young person, young man or young lady watching this show right now, and maybe they're interested. Maybe they're thinking about getting into wrestling. What would you tell that young person?
Man, if that's your heart's desire, go to college, get an education, get a certificate. So if you end up in a wheelchair like I did, you can still go to work. You can go teach class. You can teach whatever. You can do whatever you can from a sitting down position. I lost everything when I got hurt, and I didn't have that education. I had a GED. That was it. So, yeah, if you want to wrestle, do like these guys do. Most of them guys you see in WWE, they're all college graduates. They're every one of them.
Really?
You know, they all have an education. They're going to do something when they get through wrestling.
So they have something to back up on then.
Yeah. Even my own kids begged me to teach them to wrestle, and I said, go to college, get a degree, and I will train you, and I'll help you get in and everything. I'll show you all the ropes. But none of them wanted to go do that. So none of them got to wrestle.
Okay, tell us some of the wrestlers that you've met along the way. We talked about the Von Erichs and Freebirds and Andre the Giant. Tell us some other wrestlers that we would know along the way that you've met or actually wrestled with.
Now, Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, yeah.
Yeah, when I did that first match with my first match at Sport Tournament, less than a minute and 30 seconds, Billy Joe Travis.
Yeah.
I was walking around kind of mobile because I thought, dang, man, he smashed me pretty quick. But Mick Foley, when he was Cactus Jack, walked up to me and goes, let me tell you something, man. It don't matter if you're a curtain jerk or you're the main event for a title. He said, make your match the one everybody goes home talking about. I don't care what number it is. You let them be talking about you and your match when they leave. So I did, and it kept me in a lot of main events and semi-mains because I got excited out there and nobody wanted to try to keep up.
Wow. Well, when you were wrestling, did you prefer to wrestle as a single or did you prefer doing tag team? Did it matter to you?
I like to wrestle single, really.
Okay.
I mean, I can do tag, but that really wasn't how I was trained. I was trained more to work singles, and so that's what I did. I worked a lot of singles matches.
Really?
Like I say, let's see, who was it? I trained, that one guy, I ain't gonna mention his name, but Yeah, me and him were tag partners when we first started, and it turned to crap real quick. So I just really didn't want to do tagging no more.
I see.
I mean, I would if it was just a quick one tag thing and that's it. I'd do that, but not for a career tag. No.
Wow.
Midnight Express and all them, they were good at it.
They were.
They had the rhythm between the two of them. I was a little more serious about my wrestling than a lot of the guys were. They were serious, but like Stone Cold said, he said, a lot of times I slept on the side of the road in my car eating cold potatoes because that's all the money I had was for gas. But they only paid $10, $15, $20, $25 a show. When you first start out, you think you're gonna get rich or not. You got to work your way up. Undertaker.
Yeah, the Undertaker.
Yeah, when he first wrestled, man, he was making $10, $15.
Wow.
He wasn't making millions. He didn't get that till later on when he got up there. Yep.
So basically what you're saying, wrestling is not a get-rich-quick type profession.
Oh, no. You look at the guys who are making money now, how many years you been in the business? Yeah. See, a lot of people think those guys that come out of NXT are fresh out of high school. No, they're not. They're out of the military. They done did, 6, 4, 8 years, whatever in the military. They've done did theirs, and some of them gone to college. Some played football and then got hurt. But yeah, wow. It's not you're not gonna graduate and start matches and making $10,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That's not happening. That's not happening.
Well, Slash, when you were wrestling, how often did you have to work out, pump iron, or kind of get in shape? Did you have to do that quite often, or did you have a routine to kind of work out?
Yeah, I worked out most of the time, man. I was a trash truck. I was a trash man. So during the week, before I got on full time getting to wrestle, so I just did my trash route, and I got in pretty good shape.
Oh, that'll work,
but
right?
No, I lifted weight. I worked out with my weights and stuff. I did my own free weights, flipping, tractor tires, stuff like that. I didn't do the gym and all that. I didn't really care about all that.
That's cool.
I wasn't there for show. I was there for grow,
Right.
That's it.
Well,
I had to get in front of the mirror flex, I knew how big I was.
Well, let me ask you this. Of all the people that you've wrestled, Slash, of all the people you've wrestled, who do you think was the toughest opponent you ever wrestled? Who was the toughest?
For just outright crazy toughest, I'd say Necro Butcher. For the hardest who could out wrestle me and just tie me in knots, he was actually that good, was BA Dalton.
BA Dog, really?
BA Dalton. Like
Dalton,
Dalton
yes,
gang?
right. Yeah.
BA Dalton. Yeah, Wesley Wilson, that was his real name. But yeah, he was trained by Tugboat Taylor.
I remember that name. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. He worked out with guys like the Briscoe boys and some of them. He worked out with some of the hardcore guys.
Wow.
I thought it was great. He taught me a lot. But yeah, he was my hardest one as far as, he could lay down and tell you put him in any kind of hold you want to, and he'd get out of it. I didn't care. He'd get out of it. I couldn't find one hole that I'd get him in that I could hold him on. None. But Necro Butcher, now, he'd grab a chair and, man, if you didn't put your hand up or something, man, he'd split your skull from front to back. He gave Black Bart 14 staples.
Wow.
I've seen him give another kid about 20-something staples. I told the kid, I said, if you see Necro swing that chair, put your hand up. Put something up. And when he went to do it, what was his name? His tag partner. Anyway, he grabbed him from behind, and Necro, he had his arms pinned behind him, and Necro hit him with a chair, split him from front to back.
Ouch.
Necro was just, you ever see that little chicken on the cartoon when he hears a bell, he starts throwing punches?
Yes, yep. Uh-huh.
Well, when Necro hear a bell, he'd go from Dylan to Necro Butcher. And you didn't like Necro Butcher because Necro Butcher was there to get serious. There should be some on that channel. Wrestling History of Mineral Wells, Texas.
Okay.
If you look that up, you'll see all the old matches. You'll see me and Necro in some matches, I'm sure.
Will do. We got a question.
Yeah, it was great. See, back in the 90s and 80s, they didn't mind cauliflower in your ear or busting your head open the hard way, or, you know, I mean, when you first come in, it's called paying your dues. You'll get the dog beat out of you first few matches.
Be prepared,
and then once
right?
they see you're going to stay, then they soften up on you a little bit. Not always, but a little.
Right. We got a question. People want to know how did you get the name Slash? There's a question. Let's hear this.
Me and my first tag team partner, we had a match, and my tag team partner had a bad habit of sipping whiskey before a match, and I didn't know. So he was sipping some whiskey, and we went out there to wrestle, and he made the other team mad. Well, what they call a shoot is where it goes from wrestling to a real fight. And I was looking at it going, man, that was stiff. That looked stiff. That looked stiff. And he run over and tagged me and jumps out of the ring. So I jump in the ring. I start wrestling. That guy hits me really hard. I go back. I turn to look for my partner, and he's gone. He already walked to the back. What he did is he kicked his hornet's nest and then run away. So I had to fight off 2 full-grown wrestlers in probably my, 6th professional match.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
wow.
I had to fight for real. So I hit one with a chair, and I punched the other one square in the face. And I went to the back, and me and him got in a big fist fight. And when it was over, they said, well, I guess y'all not going to be the Slashers no more. I guess we'll just have to call you Slash. And so that name stuck.
That's how it started.
Calling me Slash. That's how I got it.
Now,
People
Slash,
say because I came out to Guns N' Roses music that it was Slash, the guitar player, and I was going, well, who the hell is Slash? I don't know no Slash. And they're like, no, check out Guns N' Roses, you'll see. Then I figured it out. I was like, okay, I get it. Y'all thought, no, that's not how I got the name.
Now we know. Well, Slash, you mentioned BA Dalton just now. I have another video of you wrestling him, so I'll show my audience a few highlights from that match right now.
All right, bro, go ahead.
So here, ladies and gentlemen, here once again is Slash from one of his wrestling matches back in the day. So we'll show a few highlights from that. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, that hurt.
Helping him out. We got a 201. If that thing goes out with a no disqualification. Oh. Boy, it seems symptoms all over this building. Come on. Bill gets out of the way and just punches Bill. Bill is down and out on the side of the ring. Slash on his distance, but knocked Venom straight out of there. Slash going up.
That's not for being to capitalize. He's going to do anything.
Slash going to the top. PA moves out just in time as Slash is coming down.
Right on that knee. Come on, BA, take it to him. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to fell down the middle. But you can't help but root these things when you got something like that.
I know it. He's been working on Slash. Put a little bug in his ear for the last couple of months. Finally succeeded and got West getting his wish. This is Bill's way of doing things.
Yeah, I know all about Venom's ways.
Yeah, he's on to bit him like that. Like Venom trying to get out of there. He's not. Poking that trash can right over Slash. Slash is bleeding profusely on the head.
There we go. You know, I see Venom holding his head like he may have hurt himself, but he doesn't have anything up there, so I don't know. Don't know what he could possibly hurt. There we go. Look at him run.
Venom trying to get Slash's cane.
Venom run. Oh! For the 4th time.
Bamboo's been cracked all over Slash. Oh! Right between the eyes. Got 2 count on that one.
You know he hurt his head, now he hurt his elbow. This is great. Stay out there.
Working on those ribs again. BA does have some bruised ribs from last month. They were severely bruised, actually, from what I believe the doctor told him.
Yeah, I wasn't here for it, but I heard a doctor that they shot some ribs.
Oh, yes. Oh! Working at eating those ribs now.
Wow. I don't say you kept up with that.
That was the 3rd round too.
Really?
That was the 60-minute match. It had to go 60 minutes or whoever beat who. And the only way you could win was by throwing the other one into the water over there in the kiddie pool.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to hear something really funny?
Yeah, we want to hear it for sure.
Team Extreme went and put a bunch of ice in it. The building's like 112 degrees or hotter.
Uh-huh.
And we've been wrestling 2 out of 3 falls straight, back to back. And last one, we went 59 minutes and 44 seconds.
Wow.
But when he threw me into the pool, they pushed us. So we both went in.
Uh-huh.
But since I went in first, he won. The water was supposed to have been lukewarm. They had put bags of ice in it. When BA got out of the water, he said he was looking for me. He couldn't find me. I had just went stiff and shock, and I was underwater. I couldn't come up.
Oh, no.
He pulled my hair, picked me up, dragged me out of the pool to the edge, and then he just fell down right there, and we breathed for a little while, and then he got up and walked away, and I crawled somewhere.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's why we were barely moving right there, because that was a 2 out of 3 fall match. And was first blood was the first one. Second one was submission. That's how you won the second round. And third one was you had to make the other one give up or whatever, or pin them in within 60 minutes. And we went 59 minutes, 44 seconds.
Man, you're right at the very edge, right?
If you have been in the fist fight and it lasts 6 seconds and you can't hardly breathe for 30 minutes, fight for an hour.
Fight for a whole hour. Whoa.
Stamina, brother, stamina. You want to know why I run? Stamina, brother, stamina.
Val made a comment about that wrestling match we just saw. He says, geez, that was tough. It looked like it was.
BA was one of the toughest guys. When he got in the ring, see, that's what made our match so tough. Me and him were actually best friends.
Yeah.
Because we were best friends. So we made an agreement. When we go out there and hear that bell, let's just beat the living dog out of each other. And when we come back here, man, we're friends. It's just business. It's just a work.
Having a beer together. Yeah.
He broke my nose. He knocked a tooth out. He broke my kneecap.
Oh, man.
I chipped his tooth. I ripped out a big chunk of his hair. On purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah. Stomped his ingrown toenail when he told me it was really bad. Didn't want nobody on it. I stomped it right in the middle of the ring. He stiffed me. They're called receipts. When someone hits you hard, you go, hey, he's up. They do it again, you go, okay. And then you smash them, and then you go, receipt. And they're like, oh, that's what that was for. Okay. So that's what those are. But, yeah, me and BA loved it, man. But when we got out there, it was so bad that my wife had one match up in Paris, Texas, and she was on the front row. She knows we're best friends. She knows all about wrestling. And, brother, she was all over us screaming, stop, that's enough. And we just kept going. I mean, we went at it. I had like 7 stitches or 7 staples in my head. I buzzed up pretty good. Man, but we're best friends, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes.
That brings up to my next point, Slash. I mean, there's good guys in wrestling, and that they call the bad guys, the heels. But it seems like you all are camaraderie. You all get along, right?
Yeah, man. We all got to work together, man. You know, I don't want to break your leg where you can't, supply them food on the table for your kids and your wife and pay your bills. You know, and I appreciate the same respect. You know, and that's why we're trying not to kill each other. But no, me and BA, we were 2 local boys. We were doing local shows. Our dreams of going to big time was over with. You know, I was in my 30s. You know, I didn't really want to go up here and do all that. You know, I was having a blast right where I was at. And so you know, we just went at it. You know, and Sensei Bob, we trained him. Me and BA did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said, don't let him fool you. That man is a black belt. He went to Okinawa, Japan to train. He went to where it's real.
Really?
And to get that guy not to knock your head off, you tell him, look, man, love tap. Don't hit me hard. He'd knock a dog out of you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to pulling punches. I'm used to trying to put my hand through my fist through their head. And I'm like, no. We're wrestling. Totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, it's a tough sport, man. I mean, you got to be in physical shape. You can't just go, you know what, I'm going to become a pro wrestler and run out there. Not a real one. Not if you really want to get in the business. Now, if you want to go do these little shows all your life, hey, man, they're a blast. I enjoyed it. But that's, you know, you're going to get your body beat up. These guys, you know, will drop you on your head. They'll, you know, they're learning too. You know, that's what it is. These guys that are in NXT, they probably got 10 years under their belt. You know, when, what's his name? AJ Styles went to WWE. They said, well, you can go through NXT. And he goes, no, brother, you don't understand. I've been wrestling 17 and a half years. I have held every world heavyweight title all over the world. Japan. He started naming off top companies, and he said, and I'll sign a contract with y'all, but I'm not going to NXT. I'm not no top. I'm a pro. And I've been at this too many years to have start bottom. And that's how come he didn't go to NXT. Everybody else had to go to NXT. Used to it had to be you had to wrestle down here in the little leagues, and then you send in a tape or you know somebody who'll give you a chance, and then that's how you got in. And now, man, it's if you got the money, they'll put you up there and take your money, beat you up, and send you home or put you in the ring.
It's all technical now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I still watch it, you know, because I still know some people in the business. But, you know, what's his name? Garza in AEW?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He wrestled here in Mineral Wells with us.
Did he? Oh, wow.
Just a few years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just a few years ago. I remember seeing him. Yeah, good-looking young man. I told him, I said, you'll go far, man. You just keep going the way you got that positive attitude. And now he's in AEW.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
Slash,
beautiful.
what wrestling move that has been used on you that you think hurt the most? What was the most hurtful wrestling move that you can think of that you went through?
I'd say probably a reverse crab.
I know what that is. Reverse crab, yes.
Yeah, you really can't do anything, and they just bend your back backwards. You know, there's nothing you really do about it. You know, my move was called the Nightmare, and it was like the cross-faced chicken wing, but it was a little bit different. I'd choke you out or I'd pull your shoulder out of place, and all I had to do was just stiffen my arm. So you really wasn't going to get out because all I had to do was lock it down a little bit, and you tap out because it hurt so bad. And that was one hole I couldn't get on BA. 6'3" frame or whatever it was. He's big dude, 330 pounds. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Wow. But
humongous. You asked me earlier if I wrestled. Humongous. That was one of the big guys. Down south is in Houston. Yes. In 8-inch high, 4-inch wide letters, it says humongous across his chest. And you can read them. Wow. 652 pounds. 6'6". Yeah, big guy.
Wow.
I wrestled him a couple times. Man, I'm glad I don't have to wrestle no more.
Hey, didn't you also have a back injury too when your vertebrae injured?
Yeah, man, I blew out 2 vertebrae. Kind of like in what was that show we was talking about? Bloodsport.
Yes.
When Van Damme hit that stack of bricks and busted out the 2 bottom ones. Well, that's what my 2 discs did, is what the doctor said. Well, I climbed up on top of a 16. It's Stone Cold's fault, man, because I told the promoter, I said, if he was stunning the whole McMahon family. And I said, he won't stun her. If he stuns her, I'll jump up top of that cage and do a flying elbow drop.
Wow.
And he goes, nah, you don't have to do that, Slash. I said, yeah, because he ain't going to do it. And he did it. He Stone Cold her, or he stunned her.
Oh,
so
no.
I had to go up top of the cage. So when I went up top of the cage, it was a little rickety. So I was going to do it anyway. When I jumped, it shifted. And I went on the other side of him. And instead of leaning and landing on my hip, I landed in a sitting up position flat on my ass. So it drove my spine up.
Ouch.
So it shoved my discs together and it shattered them. And disintegrated them, what the doctor said. Disintegrated. Now that's a hard hit. Disintegrate.
They had to carry you out then, right? They had to carry you out.
No, brother. The funny thing is,
No?
I won the match. I rolled over and won the match. Got up, walked out. I walked for a week, and the next Saturday I collapsed, and because I was going to get up off the bed, and I went to get up, and when I went to stand, there was no legs. I went all the way down on my face. They had to call me an ambulance to come get me off the floor.
Oh,
And I was wheelchair bound for about a year after that.
1 year in the wheelchair. Wow.
05?
2005. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I've been out of business about 20 years. About 18 years I've been out of business.
Right. Uh-huh. Are there
I've
any...
had 10 surgeries just to fix all the boo-boos I got over the years since I retired.
10 surgeries. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aren't you wearing like a wristband right now? Aren't you have something on your wrist?
Everybody says it's for corporate tone, whatever they call that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But also they had to go in between my joints of my wrist because it's called a puncher's cyst. Anyway, you grow like a big cyst. Well, mine was right in between my wrist where the bones are.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to go in and cut it out. And
Ouch.
my hand doesn't bend forward and it won't hardly bend back at all. So to keep it from flopping and hurting, I wear this brace 24/7.
Wow. Anything
So all you guys that want to go into wrestling, just remember, man, it's a great sport. But, man, take care of your body. That's all I can tell you. Get an education first.
Yeah, and I'd like to tell that to the audience. Like, make sure you get your education first so you'll have something to fall back on in case the wrestling comes to an end.
Oh, yeah. One of the punk rockers puked, got his neck broke, man. Spinal cord injury. Never walked again.
I heard about that. Yeah, I remember that.
Luckily, he had a teacher's degree, so he got to teach. But a lot of these guys don't have education, and that's what I'm just saying. I told my kids, you go get an education, bring me back a certificate, man, I'll train you. But I'm not going to let you just go in there and tear your body out for $25, $30 a night, no.
Right.
Not my kids.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
I guess because I've lived it, been there and done that, so,
So are you still in, even though you're out of the business, are you still in contact with a lot of the either past or present wrestlers today?
Oh, yeah, man. My hellhounds, War Dog and Mad Dog, I keep in touch with them on Facebook. Ray, Sensei Bob, I still talk to Sensei Bob. Me and him still talk all the time. Man, just pretty much anybody wants to talk to me on there, they come on and say, oh, man, remember me? Oh, yeah. I talked to Rico Suave here a while back. That was pretty cool because I haven't seen him since...
Wow.
91.
That's a blast from the past. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no joke. But yeah, me and Bob keep in touch because him and BA were pretty tight, and him and BA were real tight. And then BA died, and so he said, "Hey man, we got to call each other every Sunday." I was like, "All right." So we call and talk to each other.
Wow.
We stay in touch.
Awesome. Now you mentioned something earlier, Slash. Where people can still see your old matches, and they're on YouTube. So can you tell my audience if they want to see more of your matches? What's the name of the channel on YouTube?
Yeah, just look up Wrestling History of Mineral Wells, Texas, and you'll see all of it. All the old matches. You'll see some newer matches. There's a CWP and Tops, which CWP was Tops after Tops got sold. CWP took over. And I worked for them for a while, and then all that, and then I ended up getting hurt. So, yeah. Okay. Go to that channel, you can see all those old matches. You can see all kinds of... Now, you're going to see stuff you don't see on TV because...
Yeah.
Well, when we asked to be on TV, and the producers came down there with their people, and they watched one of our Saturday night shows, and they said, well, man, I was like, what do you think, man? You think we can make a TV? And he goes, oh, absolutely not. And I'm like, why? And he goes, you are too violent. He said, man, we didn't really cuss a lot, but I mean, we did at times when you get mad. but most time it was just too violent. We used chairs and. We trusted enough each other. We didn't put our hands up and stuff except for Necro Butcher and he'd knock your brains out.
Hey, Slash, I got a question for you
brother.
I got a question from the audience. Let me put the question
All
up
right.
here. Penny Van wants to know, Slash, have you ever met the Crusher? You know the Crusher?
The Crusher. Now, I remember a guy in WWF that was the Crusher, but is that who he's talking about, I guess?
Yeah, Penny, are you talking
I
about
only
Crusher
see
from
him on TV.
WWF?
I don't know anybody. I've seen that guy on TV, but I
Okay.
never met him.
Sure.
Black Bart, he was the Intercontinental Champion of the WWF. He
Black
had
Bart.
the Double B Brandon Iron. He
Yeah.
was from the Badlands of Dakota.
Yes, I do remember him.
Yes. It's had the big black cowboy hat, big
Mhm.
long black trench coat, big beard, looked like a woolly booger.
Yep, I
He was
remember
all
that.
dark black. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
But we mentioned earlier, Slash, that Black Bart really needs our prayers right now.
Yeah, he just found out here recently he has a stage 4 colon cancer. He said he didn't really want anybody feeling sorry for him, but prayers are appreciated because he said he's right with the man upstairs and everything. So
Absolutely.
I'm kind of glad to hear that. I
So
kind of
we'll-
want to see him again.
We'll pray for Black Bart. We'll pray for him. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yep. That's a good man.
So, did you know?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Did you know Sergeant Slaughter?
Nah, I got to meet like Abdullah the Butcher, Chris Adams, Leaping Lanny Poffo, that's Randy Macho Man's brother.
Yeah.
I met him. Ric Flair, yeah, down to earth. Hogan. All I can say is that's one big son of a gun when I saw him. When I met him, he was called the Soul Taker.
Really?
And then he put in, this other guy I met. And then he put in more years. And when he went to WWE, he was the one they called the Witch Doctor. And then he was the Pimp. What they call it? He had the whole train.
Oh,
Him. That's the guy.
the
That's the guy I
Godfather.
met. He was called the Soul Taker when I met him at
Oh, okay.
Sportorium. Years before. Yeah.
Wow. You know who I remember the most? I remember back in the day, and maybe some of the other older people that remember from the wrestling days, Jimmy Garvin and his escorts, Sunshine and Precious.
Jimmy Jam Garvin. Yep. He ended up being the third Freebird at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, because Buddy Roberts got bad with throat cancer, I believe it was.
And I remember how Sunshine and Precious, those girls would get into a big fight in the ring.
Oh yeah, it was great. Sunshine turned into me no heifer. She turned into like that old, what was that ant truck driver of hers?
Stella Mae French.
Stella Mae. Boy, look out. Yeah.
Oh boy, those were some good times, Slash. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad you were a part of it.
Oh, here, word of advice to all y'all. If you ever go to a wrestling match and you decide you're going to jump in there and help the good guy because the bad guys and the referee aren't paying attention, we're all three in on it. So when you jump in there, it's you against three, not you against whoever.
Yeah.
So make sure you don't jump in the ring, okay? Because I've seen a lot of people get hurt.
I remember
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
Hey, was this true? We got a comment from the audience from Chad. He's saying the more you bleed, the more you get paid. Is that true?
Well, it was back in the day.
Back in
I
the
got
day.
paid a lot. Yeah, man. Yeah, if I'm going to have to bleed, it's going to cost somebody. Now,
wow.
sometimes you bled because, well, you're just too slow or whatever. You caught one across the head, or you didn't catch that steel pole in time. Those happen all the time.
Wow.
But yeah, I like to get paid if I'm going to do that. I mean, if you got to go, shovel poop with your bare hands. When you hear bare hands, the price goes up.
That's great. Well, tell you what,
I don't know how
Slash.
to say it. That's not the way I know how to explain it.
Right. Well, you and I, we're going to get together. I want your autograph if we go out to lunch sometime. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll find one of my wrestling pictures, man.
Right. Okay. Well, Slash, we appreciate you being here tonight to share your memories and share the experience you had as a wrestler. It's been a great show, Slash, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight.
Oh yeah, brother. It was just great, man. I appreciate being here, and I'm glad to meet all y'all. I hope I entertained you or whatever, gave you a little knowledge, whatever. Hope you enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it, Slash, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks a lot for being on the show tonight.
Gotta go have lunch.
All right, we sure will. We'll make a plan to do that.
All right, brother.
Take care, Slash. Bye-bye. And ladies and gentlemen, I always say 1 hour goes by way too fast when we have an interesting guest and an equally interesting topic. Wow, I used to watch, I'll put a footnote, I used to watch wrestling back in the day religiously. I'm going to age myself here, 1970s, 1980s, even some of the 90s, but I remember, maybe some of you remember, the Von Erich family, the Freebirds, Jimmy Garvin, Bruiser Brody. That name might be familiar to some of you guys. There was Gary Hart, the manager, with Mark Lewin, and there was Spoiler 1 and Spoiler 2, and there was Skandar Akbar, the Arabian manager that always interfered. And wow, that brings back some really good memories. Of course, the referees, what were they? Bronco Luvich, David Manning, Rick Hazard. Oh, so many great ones back in the day. I don't want to take anything away from wrestling today. Wrestling today is a little different than it was back in the day, but it's just as popular. So wish all the promoters and wrestlers in the WWE in the 2020s the best is all. But I've got some great memories back in the day, and boy, I mean that was a must see back in the day for a lot of us. I mean, because we had our heroes, you had the heels, the people that you loved to hate. There's I can remember Gino Hernandez. There was Chris How about Jake the Snake Roberts? There's another name for you. The Fantastics. Man, where else? I could do this all night long. So wrestling was great then, and it's great now. I don't watch it now, but I'm sure that it's just as good now as it was back then. So that'll be all for me tonight. That will do it for me. I will be back. Remember, my shows are live every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Next week, I will have another guest on with an equally interesting topic. So if you want to know what it is, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. So for now, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you all tuning in for this episode. And thank you again, Slash, for sharing your memory. This is Bob Van Buren for the Van Buren Variety Show. Good night, everybody.